Ever wondered what it will be like to be a successful person? You know, having it all, the stuff that you ever dreamed of. I mean, after you finish in college or university, you thought you were gonna get that job, and after that job, everything was gonna be all tight. But did you ever think that you're gonna get a mortgage, or a car loan? You got that student loan that you haven't paid, and bam, you got a baby on the way. You know, taking care of the diapers and the baby food and all that, and everything happening all at once. But did you ever believe that there's a way out of this matrix that we put ourselves in? I'm gonna take you and guide you through this session. Are you gonna be the one that's taking the red pill or the blue pill? Now, throughout this video that we're gonna have tonight, um, just for 10 minutes, be with me, bear with me, and I'll show you the ins and outs of billionaires, icons, or some of them were in the depths of debts and, you know, homeless people, and they came out and became billionaires. And I got the cheat code right here. We're gonna go through this book, The Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss, like I promised you the last time, and we're gonna see what sort of things these type of people did in order to get their lives back on the track. So bear with me for the next 10 minutes. Ramzan Hina. I'm gonna talk serious stuff, so get ready, folks. And without further ado, and Tim Ferriss, essentially the best-selling author on the New York Times bestsellers, and his book Tribe of Mentors is a sort of short advice on life, like he says in the title. But he says that when he got to the age of 40, he realized there's some certain elements of his life that were missing. So he says, truth be told, I never thought I'd make it to 40. My first book was rejected 27 times by publishers. The things that worked weren't supposed to work, so I realized on my birthday I had to plan for after 40. As often happens at folks in the path, college graduation, quarter life crisis, midlife crisis, kids leaving home, retirement, questions started to bubble to the surface. Were my goals my own, or simply what I thought I should want? How much of life had I missed from under planning or over planning? How could I be kinder to myself, and how could I be better? How could I better say no to the noise, to better say yes to the adventures I craved? Anyway, that's the introduction of the book. But essentially, he's got these 11 questions he's asking these people which have been mentioned in this book. First question is books. What sort of books if you read, would you recommend to people? And mostly what came up was 5 books, which were Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and The Rational Optimist by Matt Ridley, The Better Angels of Our Nature by Steve Biko, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charlie Munger. And the second question that he was asking was which gifts under $100 have you bought, which sort of stuff we bought below $100. Third one, he was saying that failure, how has failure set you up for a later success? And a lot of people have answered differently. And fourth one is if you had a gigantic billboard, what would you put on it? What advice or what quotation or saying would you put on the gigantic billboard? Fifth question was the best and worthwhile investment which you have done recently. It could be the energy you put into a certain type of work, or money that you invested, or time. And sixth one was unusual habit or absurd habit that you would do. A lot of people answer differently on that question. And seventh one was in the last 5 years, what new realization, behavior, or belief has improved your life. And a lot of people answer differently on that. And number 8, what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student that's about to enter in the real world? A lot of people answer different questions, and just like to say, my take on that was Jerome Jarre and Stephen Pressfield. Jerome Jarre, Stephen Pressfield, he says that, I think it was page number 5. He says that I'm probably hopelessly out of date, but my advice is to get real world experience. Be a cowboy, drive a truck, join the Marine Corps, get out of the hyper-competitive life hack frame of mind. I'm 74, believe me, you've got all the time in the world, you've got 10 lifetimes ahead of you. Don't worry about your friends beating you or getting somewhere ahead of you. Get out into the real world and start failing. That's his advice to those people that have recently finished college or university. Anyway, the other question was number 9, which says that what bad recommendation do you hear in your area of expertise? Plenty of people have answered that question, but number 10 was in the last 5 years. What in the last 5 years, what have you become good at saying no to? That question I'm gonna delve into a bit because it's a bit on the surface. You could say that it's talking about stuff that you could say no to, but on my side, I would say that most of the stuff that we say no to don't have to be stuff that we're hearing from people or being told to do by people. I could say inwardly that there's certain stuff that we're doing which has come about as due to the processes that are taking place in our lives, as well as the inner chatter that we face in our minds, which is saying, do this, do that, and eventually we end up taking a lot of time or losing time doing stuff that we shouldn't do. For instance, I'm saying right now, go to the nightclub, have some fun, instead of recording this YouTube video. So if that's what, if I say yes to everything, like go to nightclub, stop the YouTube video recording, and essentially what I'm saying is that there's certain activities that we need to say no to ourselves in order to progress in a linear manner, or more or less of a in a proper function of the situations that we're in. And number 11, which was when you feel overwhelmed, what do you do? A lot of people answer differently, and I guess once you look at the book, you'll see what sorts of answers they put out there. But I'm just gonna explain it and say that essentially it's about the stuff that you do to calm yourself when you're frantic or being overwhelmed, or whatever the situation might be that has caused you to be more stressful. And I personally try to figure this out in the sense that in the book, some people talk about meditation, some people talk about mindfulness, but I'd just like to say that these concepts are not rather new, but they've been sort of more or less rebranded or commercialized. I mean, for instance, people used to fast, whether it was for weight loss or for religious reasons. Recently, we just finished Ramadan for the holy month of Ramadan for most Muslims. And on another note, mixing stuff at the moment, I'm sorry. I came in contact with Islam way before before I started growing up, and I didn't know the meaning of it, the inner meaning, until I read the book by Alex Haley. I read the book Malcolm X and watched the movie. Of course, what inspired me to read the book was the movie by Denzel Washington. And well, the book it really took me about Islam and all that. And I eventually entered into the fold of Islam, but I didn't realize that there was an inner meaning in religion. And these names that were given to religions are not really, I'd say, labels. They are, but they're not that inspiring, or you know, I don't know what to put the word, but I think more or less it's about having negativity assigned to them, and it's not healthy. But I'm saying that the mysticism point of Islam, Sufism, is essentially what I'm following, and you may see the Qadir of a name come up a couple of times, which I use it as a pseudonym, and AKA what you might call it, and it's essentially what is my Sufi position or my Sufi not you call it a movement or anything like that, but it's essentially just a label to a person that knows what Sufism is, that I'm a follower of a certain Sufi sect, and it's a Qadiri, which is Qadir, that word enters, and it's essentially about taking out from the heart all the messy stuff, envy, jealousy, and it stems from the part of the beast in a human being, which is must be ousted in order for the inner child of the human being to reside in the heart, which eventually should reflect. Once the heart is clear, it should reflect uh, the essence of the whole um, uh, sort of the whole mankind, or I mean, not mankind, but the essence, meaning the one and only God, should be seen in your heart. And there's a verse in the Quran, I think it talks about where that God is nearer to us more than our jugular veins. And I'm not gonna say that mixed stuff, but I'm just gonna put you in a situation for you to foster a kind of thinking that you might be more, in a sense, alert to the type of words that I'm saying. But anyway, I'm gonna not delve into all that stuff about Sufism. That's another subject for another day. But I think I've already covered Tim Ferriss's book, and it pretty much